At this time, without any further ado, I'm going to introduce the man with the plan. Give it up for our superintendent, Dr. Mark Smith.
Good morning, good morning. Can you hear me out there? They got to get me going. What about now? Can you hear me? All right, guys, back there. You got there we go. Good morning. How are you today? It is so good to be here. I'm so excited to be joining you this morning. I love the positive energy, the excitement as we get started for the new school year. Hey, I got to tell you, our theme is family this year. And so I got to tell you about this funny little photo behind me you see back there. That little guy, number 23, happens to be me. Now, the team, they twisted my arm to get me to do this. And so a couple things I want to point out about that photo and keeping kind of with our family theme. Number one, I made 23 popular before Jordan. So I wore 23 first. So let me just get that out there. And then number two, I was sporting my little mini fro. And you can see those days are long gone. And I don't think they're coming back, but that's okay. So I am really excited to be here this morning. I first want to introduce to you our school board members. And so I want to ask, when I call their name, if they could stand and just be recognized. If you could give them a round of applause when I call their name. So I'm going to start here with Mr. Joe Veracruz. Mr. Phil McNeely. Ms. Renee McNeely. Mr. Tom Kennedy. Our board president, Ms. Janice Savage Martin. And Ms. Carla Fahey. Cassandra Phillips is out of town and couldn't be here today. Oh, there she is. Stand up, Ms. Phillips. You fooled me. I thought you were right there. So I want to tell you about this board. Everything rises and falls with the leadership. And our board provides excellent leadership. I know you hear that a lot, but there is a lot that goes on behind the scenes. They are very supportive of me. They understand the concept of a team and a team working together. There is great communication and great chemistry, and it's because of that leadership that we've been able to accomplish the things that we've accomplished in just 2 short years. And so I want you to know I'm very fortunate and very appreciative and do not take for granted the leadership that they provide. They're very committed to Duncanville and all that we're trying to do and accomplish in the district. So again, I appreciate you very much. So we want to thank them every year as we get ready to build our budget. One thing I want you to know about our boards, they're always thinking about the teachers. How can we better serve the teachers? How can we meet the teachers' needs? Sometimes we can do big things. Sometimes we can do small things. But it's an effort and a mindset to make sure we're keeping our teachers at the forefront of our thoughts. And so this year, when we were developing the budget, they wanted to make sure we found ways to provide some level of compensation for our teachers as an incentive. And so this year, it's exciting. I'm happy about it for our staff. Everyone will receive a one-time payment of $1,000. So we want to thank them for that. If you're on board by September 4th and through the payment, you have an opportunity to get your one-time payment of $1,000. And also, they increase the contribution to your health care insurance. So we know, and so we don't want to take that for granted. That's an example of them putting our teachers first and making sure that we're doing any and everything we can, looking under every nook and cranny to try to let our teachers know how much they are valued and how much they are appreciated. And we thank them for this. I love telling personal stories because personal stories have a way of highlighting the impact that you all have on the students that you work with each and every day. And so as I've started the school year, I've already had several meetings with several community groups, and I've been fortunate to be able to go out and tell the story of various students that I've had an opportunity to meet, had an opportunity to meet their families, etc. And it's amazing the stories that you hear and the love that and appreciation that many of our students and families have for Duncanville ISD. And they truly know that it set the stage for them to go and do great things. Well, these two students I haven't had a chance to meet yet, but I will. Just this summer, they competed with the Youth and Government group in Chicago, and they finished second, which is the highest. This was a national competition. This is the highest. Yes, go ahead, give them. But get this. This is the highest finish of any Texas team ever from Texas. And so they finished second behind New York, and so a team out of New York. And so I am looking forward to hearing their personal stories about how the teachers, the sponsors, those who worked with them played a pivotal role in their success. Think about the experiences that they were able to gain from going to Chicago, competing nationally, the preparation that went behind it, and the impression that they made nationally. And it all started for them here in Duncanville ISD. And so you should never underestimate the power and the impact that you have to make a difference in the lives of others. And so I enjoy telling those personal stories. Every organization, every department, every family, every business has a culture. To me, culture is all about the collective behaviors of those individuals within the organization, or how they get things done. You know a positive culture when you see it. You can feel it. You know a negative culture when you see it. You can feel it. And in Duncanville ISD, for us, over the last couple of years, we have been intentional about establishing a culture that we believe is going to help us be successful and maximize our potential. That culture is the PAC. We call it the PAC, P-A-C. And the acronym for PAC is professionalism, accountability, and communication. From a professional standpoint, when you enter any organization or any business, you can tell right away if it's a professional organization or if it's a little rough around the edges, as I like to say. And so here in Duncanville, we believe in being professional. What is it to be a professional? It's to be on time. It's to be organized. It's to have pride in what you do. There's a certain standard of quality that you bring to the table with everything that you touch. There's a professionalism and a polish about how you go about doing your business. That's the culture that we are establishing in Duncanville. Also, there's accountability. There's a great sense of having ownership in the end result. That if your name is on it, then it's going to produce quality. It's the thought that everyone is expected to produce and has a role in the district, and that role is to make a difference in a positive way and to take ownership and accountability for it. Starts at the top and goes through every level of the organization. And then the third piece about our culture is communication. This is a people business, and in a people business, you have to be able to communicate. I always say people first, process is second. In leadership, sometimes we get that mixed up. We put processes before people. We put the things that we have to do before people. I fundamentally believe the reverse gives you a greater result. And so our culture is embedded in being good communicators. Communicators with every level in the district, communicators with our stakeholders, both externally and internally, communicating often and regular. See, this is the culture that we are establishing in Duncanville. If we establish a culture that's rooted in professionalism, that's rooted in accountability and communication, then we're going to be on the plus side of any situation that we encounter. And so I am so excited to continue to be intentional about establishing a culture for us that's going to help us maximize our potential. You've heard it in the stories that you've seen in the videos. It goes way back. And so we have the fortunate opportunity to be able to continue that legacy. We highlighted several departments just a little bit ago. But I want to give another shout out to a special group, and I kind of call them the unsung heroes. They're the people that go out and do a lot of the tasks that no one else wants to do. But those tasks are so critically important to the overall picture of what we're trying to do in the district. And so our support services, our custodial staff, our transportation staff, the police department that are working to provide safety and security for us, our grounds crew, our maintenance crew, nutritional services, these are all key individuals in the district that have a crucial role in helping us do the work that we do. And so I would just ask if you could join me again, just recognizing those individuals that I call the unsung heroes. So. Thank you. So we have done a lot in 2 years. Think about it, 2 years is really not a long time. You all have been working fast and furious. You've been given an overview of the exciting programs that we've been able to implement in our district over the last 2 years. And when you think about that just 2 years ago, these things were not here, it's amazing what happens when a group of people come together with some focus and intentional efforts and a desire to do good, what can happen. And so because of that, because of you all, the work that you've done, the support that the board has provided, we are now in a really much stronger position than where we were 2 years ago. When I first arrived, we had a town hall meeting, and that town hall meeting was really a part of my listening and learning tour. I wanted to listen to our community members, our parents, our staff. I wanted to know what they thought was working well, but also what they thought we needed to improve upon. And one of the things that kept coming up is to create a situation for us where we would enhance the academic programs that we offer here in the district. They wanted us to look at creating specialized schools that had a specific focus. They wanted us to create schools that could prepare the students for the future. They wanted us to quite simply enhance and create a more robust academic profile for the students in Duncanville ISD. So we went to work. We went to work and started doing some research and started looking at best practices and establishing what would be a good fit for us. And just 2 years later, we are in a much stronger place. We obviously, as you know, we're opening up our STEAM Academy, and we know that that's going to provide great opportunities for our students to maximize opportunities for college and for STEAM activities. We have placed an emphasis on early childhood education and have expanded full-day pre-K with the goal of expanding that throughout our district, throughout all of our elementary schools. Our Collegiate Academy, as you know, has been a great success in our second year, and we know all the opportunities that that's going to provide for our students. And then our before and right after school programs, the list goes on and on and on. Dallas County Promise, Early College High School Designation, HEB Finalist Award. These are all things that have happened because of the collective group in this room in Duncanville ISD in just 2 short years. And so for that, first, just take a deep breath. Whew. And then secondly, you got to pat yourself on the back and give your hands a round of applause. So there is much more to come because we're going to be even more focused and more intentional, and we're going to listen even more to what our parents and our community want, and then we're going to incorporate those into what we do in our district. We have seen an increase in just 2 short years of enrollment in our district, and it's a direct reflection of the programs and the opportunities that we're able to provide for our students, and so very pleased with that. You know, we are in a service-driven business. In a service-driven business, you have to provide services. And it takes people to provide services. It takes funding to provide services. So collectively, what we've done as a group, we have started to research what are options that we can generate more revenue in our district so that we can improve and enhance the services that we provide for our students. In order to maintain the quality of education that we all know is crucial and that we want to do, it takes support to do that from a financial standpoint. And so we have a very important election coming up. We are calling our election the penny swap. And so the election day is Saturday, September 8th. and our early voting begins August 22nd, September 4th. I have a brief video that I want to share with you that really highlights what we're doing, why we need to do it, and if we are successful in getting support from a community standpoint, what we're going to do with the additional revenue. So if we could start the video, and then I'll kind of wrap up where we're going next.
In Duncanville ISD, we're writing success stories one student at a time. It takes resources to bring that vision to life. But over the past decade, the state's share of public school funding has declined. In 2008, the state was contributing half of the funding for public schools. By 2019, it's expected to decrease to 38%. To supplement that loss of funding, the Duncanville ISD Board of Trustees has called an election that could generate an additional $5.2 million each year without increasing the total school tax rate. How is this possible? It's called a penny swap or tax ratification election. Texas schools are funded by two tax rates, debt service and maintenance and operations. The debt service tax rate can only be used to pay off debt, such as bond elections. The maintenance and operations tax rate funds day-to-day school needs. Here's how a penny swap works. If voters pass a tax ratification election or penny swap, the district could increase the maintenance and operations tax rate by 13 cents while reducing the debt service tax rate by 13 cents. The equal number of pennies swap places, keeping the school tax rate the same, $1.52. The Board of Trustees has already approved a 13-cent decrease to the debt service tax rate, the equal penny swap, which results in no school tax rate increase. When you receive your ballot, you can choose to vote either for or against the tax ratification election. If the majority of people vote against the penny swap, the school tax rate stays the same and the school district receives no additional funding. If the majority of people vote for the 13-cent increase to the maintenance and operation tax rate, Duncanville ISD will receive additional annual funding of about $5.2 million. That additional funding would be used for increasing safety and developing a school district police department, replacing outdated buses, expanding academic offerings for students, and keeping up with technological demands. Election Day is Saturday, September 8th. Early voting is August 22nd through September 4th. Penny swap, your tax rate stays the same and schools receive more funding.
So we have a lot of literature that we are putting out throughout the community to help them understand what we're doing and why we want to do it and what we're going to be utilizing the funding for. And we'll continue. We have about 4 weeks or so left before the election. And as we get closer, we're going to continue to put information out to educate so that we can make sure that all of our stakeholders have a good sense of what it is we want to do. And of course, we want to get that support so that we can continue the good things that we have started in the district. This summer, as our leadership team came back from the summer and really started to focus on the 18-19 school year, we spent a lot of time talking about our why or our purpose and trying to discover what your why and what your purpose is and what role that has for you in this moment in time where you are in the district. And so for me, I did my own self-analysis to rediscover my purpose and my why. And so I pulled out a book that I had, an old tattered book. Many of you probably have read it. The author is Simon Sinek. And so he has several books, Leaders Eat Last, but he also has a book entitled Starting with the Why. And he talks about the why and that it's that thing that drives you to do what you do. It's that thing that you are passionate about. It's the very thing that gives you self-fulfillment, both professionally and personally. And there are certain benefits that come when a person understands his or her purpose or their why. It's really a prevailing question that many of us think about and many people struggle with. Why is it that I'm here? Why is it that I am in Duncanville at this point in time in my life? And how am I going to utilize my gifts and talents to make a difference? And so I went through that exercise this summer for myself. You know, we've just finished 2 years, going into year 3, and I want to make sure that I am doing the very best and that emotionally and mentally I am focused in a way to help us do the work that we're all here to do. And so I started to think about my why and my purpose. And I would encourage you as you get ready for Wednesday to think about, if you haven't already done so, your why and your purpose. Why is it that you're here? What contributions are you going to make? And how are you going to get the things done in a way that you gain self-fulfillment? As I went through that personal exercise myself, I started to ask myself, well, your purpose and your why is all rooted in your passion. What is it that you are passionate about? For me, I'm very passionate about leadership. I am so inquisitive of what good leaders do to make a difference. In any field, in any industry, I want to know what is it that they do to improve their circle of influence. Also, in terms of knowing your why and your purpose, it's rooted in your talents. What are those things that you are naturally talented in? Those things that are somewhat routine for you but a struggle for others. That's where your natural talent is. And then it's also rooted in your value system, your integrity, your character, your willingness to maximize your own potential. And then your skills and the expertise that you bring to the table. Imagine if all of us had a solid secureness of our purpose and our why, and the benefits that that not only would have on you personally, but the benefits that it would have for others that are within your circle of influence. Sinek talks about the benefits of understanding your purpose and understanding your why. And he says, if you understand your purpose or your why, you're more focused. So that when distractions come, you're locked in and focused on what it is you have set out to accomplish. And so we know the school year, we work in a very tough business, right? And so there are tough times and there are tough days. But if you're operating in your purpose, and this is you're passionate about what you're doing, then when a tough day or tough week or tough month comes along, and it will, you'll be able to push through that and still be able to focus on making a difference for those that are within your circle of influence. The other benefit he talks about is that you're in a position where you can use your gifts and talents to make a difference. So understanding your purpose, understanding your why, it allows you to operate in the areas where you're gifted and talented to most. And where your gifts and talents are being able to impact others, I mean, the potential to exceed in a large way is just, it's unlimited in terms of what you can do. He talks about the framework and the mindset of an individual who has a growth mindset and who is focused on utilizing their gifts and their talents to have a positive impact on those that are around them. That's a benefit of understanding your why and your purpose. And then the biggest one that I did a lot of self-reflection on is the benefit of understanding your purpose and your why is the self-fulfillment that one gets. It's that feeling of knowing that you matter. It's that feeling of understanding the value that you bring to an organization, to a team, to students. It's that feeling of I've accomplished what it is I was supposed to do during my time here in Duncanville ISD. And so when you think about the fact that we are in a business that requires us to consider others, it requires us to have a growth mindset if we're going to be successful. And in the context of what we do in terms of supporting and serving others, understanding your purpose and understanding your why has a profound impact on the people that are within your circle of influence. Some of us have students that we directly influence every day. Others, we have a team or a department, or maybe your role is that you're responsible for a campus. Whatever the role is, if you took some time and thought about your purpose, your why, what is it that you're passionate about, and are you truly using your gifts and talents to make a difference? Because it does matter. Think about the comments of our former alumni. They all talk about, they name people, they name people that touch them. It's like Maya Angelou said, I may not remember what you say to me or what you do to me, but I will always remember how you made me feel. And so that is the profound impact that you can have, that I can have, when we are operating in our purpose. See, I believe that it's not an accident that I'm here in Duncanville right now. I believe it's not an accident that you are here, that we are here together. And so just think about again what will happen if we are able to truly maximize our potential by understanding and taking ownership of our purpose and the impact that that has on the larger picture. Mark Twain has an exceptional quote that I always read to help me to stay focused. And he says, the two most important days in your life are the day that you were born and the day that you find out your why. Think about it. People struggle all their lives and never truly understand their purpose and never truly understand their why. And so for me and for us collectively, I would encourage you and charge you to do some self-examination and understand your why and your purpose. And if you do that, I can assure you that you will have a positive impact on those that are within your circle of influence. And as a family, you will be supporting the efforts that we are all striving to do to improve our situation. Families stick together. Families have patience with one another. Families are always encouraging. If you're like me, you got some family members, you say, man, I don't know how that thing worked out. But you still love them. And you're not pushing them off a cliff, although you may want to sometimes. But that's what family is for, and that's what family is about. Now, I'm fortunate that I have been able to experience the Duncanville family since I've been here. Y'all have kind of adopted me, and I appreciate that. And I feel so motivated and so encouraged every day to go out and actually function in my purpose. And so I just want to encourage you all to do the same as you begin the school year. It has been so good to just share a few words with you. I'm so glad to be here and be on the team with you. And I am so excited about the 18-19 school year and all that we're going to do moving forward. So thank you very much.